This is the Pause Your Life podcast, where we take a look at the newest research on the effects of today's fast-paced lifestyle and how the meditation organization Pause Your Life offers an escape route from the hamster wheel that is modern living. I'm your host, Hannah-Lee Myers. Mid-episode, we bring you words of wisdom from philosopher, author, and poet James Allen, followed by Meditation 101 Basics, and then an opportunity to try pausing your life. You can visit pauseyourlife.org to receive free midweek pause materials to help you stay grounded and not get swept away in the madness. Every Wednesday, you'll enjoy an email containing a featured excerpt from a book or blog post, an inspiring photo, and a deep, thoughtful quote. You can also follow Pause Your Life on Twitter and Facebook. Just search Pause Your Life. In the last episode of the Pause Your Life podcast, we learned about the harms associated with the chaotic, fast-paced lifestyle you might be living and possibly doubting you can escape. We also heard the stories of Chris and Millar Curran, co-founders of Pause Your Life, and how they managed to escape their stressful lifestyles. In this episode, we'll get the details on how Pause Your Life works. I'll be taking you to our first Pause Your Life meetup, and we'll hear from Pause Your Life members about their journeys and experiences.
I saw it. I said, I'm doing this for myself. I need this. I want this. I will involve myself in this.
We'll also learn about a new study showing a strong tie between group activities and happiness.
Depression, anxiety, stress, burnout, all these tend to be lower in individuals who identify with one or more social groups.
All that coming up in the next half hour on the Pause Your Life podcast. So I have a confession. I don't have much meditation experience. Call me meditation curious. So the first time I visited the home of Chris and Millar Curran, co-founders of Pause Your Life, I wanted to see how seasoned meditators do it. So we're going to go see the special space, the meditation space.
We'll go upstairs.
During Pause Your Life meetups, Chris and Millar teach a type of meditation that's both satisfying for meditation pros and accessible for beginners like me.
So, yeah, we'll do the lightness meditation. Very simple. We just sit comfortably with your eyes closed, and we begin with the idea that there's a peaceful lightness emanating from your heart. So it's a heart-based meditation. So just have the idea that from the very core of your heart, there's a peaceful lightness that's emanating and, permeating your body and outwards, all that stuff. If you have any thoughts, any stray thoughts, just ignore them. Don't push them away. Don't fight with them. They're not bad. Just don't give them any energy. And they will go away. Remember, meditation is a passive activity, so you're not supposed to be actually doing anything. Just kind of let go, and if you have too many thoughts, you can come back to the idea that there's a peaceful lightness emanating from your heart. Okay.
We meditated for around 20 minutes. Then it was over.
So how do you feel now?
Surprisingly more awake,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting. There was almost a level of some level of anarchy in it, of intentionally sacrificing time, where I could be doing something else, and it was a conscious choice to do so. There's something very rebellious about that, I think, in Western culture.
Thank you
Yes,
so much
thank you.
for having
Great
me
to
in.
meet you.
I just had to give me I left with a renewed interest in this meditation thing. I felt like a beginner for sure, but I also felt like I'd rediscovered a use of my time I'd been underappreciating. So then it was time for step 2, a meetup. Okay, so just arrived at the Pause Your Life meetup. This will be new for me. I've never done anything quite like this before. Excited to see what this is like. And as I approached the meetup building, the first thing I heard... laughter. A lot of it. After speaking with group members like Natalie, I discovered this can be expected at Pause Your Life events.
I think it's a good balance between silly, there's usually a lot of laughing. On the one hand, it's kind of lighthearted and not making a big deal out of everything, but at the same time, you're talking about big deal things.
Yeah.
Once inside, the 7 of us got comfortable, sitting in a circle and chatting before Chris kicked things off.
So I guess we can officially start.
Okay.
So Pause Your Life started because my wife and I have been meditating for many years, and we wanted to start something where it was easy, meaning it's not anything that you have to commit to or that you have to be obligated to do every day. So we thought the first step in meditation and spirituality and any really reflection on yourself is to pause. So we live our lives out there, and I'm pointing out the window to a busy intersection, which is apt. Our lives are always busy, always moving, always stressful. There's always anxiety, there's always ups and downs. It's like a roller coaster ride that never stops. So we wanted to provide a place where we could just stop, hit the pause button and stop, and really just drop everything. Drop your roles and your titles. So you might be a mother or a brother or a sister or an uncle or a friend or an employee or a business owner or a hiker. Anything. You could be anything, but those are just little titles that you assume for a certain period of time. So here we drop all the roles, we drop all the titles, and we break it down to just you as a human being. That's all. Because that's what you are, in essence. You're a human being. And all that stuff we pile on top of that fact is okay, but in order to balance our lives and to actually reflect on our own lives and maybe grow in awareness, in higher awareness, we need to have a balance between the crazy life out there and a pausing, meditative mindset or awareness in here. So that's what we do. We're going to do a couple exercises today.
The first thing we did was the universe box exercise. I heard a lot about it and was waiting to try it.
This is a special box. What we're going to do is pass around these clipboards with the paper, and we're going to take 3 or 4 minutes. Everyone's going to write down anything that's bothering you, anything that's stressing you, making you anxious, worrying you, any chips on your shoulder, any forgiveness you're not able to give, anything negative and heavy that's bothering you. You're just going to write it on this piece of paper and just write it down. Just keep writing. Don't think about it too much. Just make a big list. When we're all done and we see that we're all done, we're going to take turns depositing this piece of paper into the universe box. And what you're doing when you put it in the universe box is literally you're handing over all that stuff, all that garbage or that stuff. There's another S word that might apply to it as well at times. But you're going to hand that over to the universe to take care of for at least a couple hours we're in this room. So just take all the load off your shoulders and put it in the universe box. The universe will handle it. And now guess what? Now you can just be light. You can feel light and you're just a human being. That's all. And we can just relax with that and have a nice time here.
As much as I think about what's stressing me out, it felt novel and important to list those things out on paper. Then, one at a time, our lists went in the box. And they were gone. Next, having given our problems to the universe for the time being, Chris played some music. And we meditated for a few minutes. After, when we talked about how the meditation went, it was nice to hear that Millar, a Pause Your Life co-founder, recognizes that the practice of meditation isn't always easy.
I was thinking how effortless it is just to sit quiet without not doing nothing, just why do we struggle with that?
Next, we took turns reading from a passage taken from philosopher James Allen's book, Byways of Blessedness.
It takes two to make a quarrel. Don't be the other one.
Then, kind of like in a book club, we discussed it, and different parts resonated with different people.
I really like this line about just be your own self and live your own life, and that alone is kind of the best you can offer anyone else.
And even though we talked about some really deep stuff, no one got heated, and everyone seemed really comfortable speaking their mind.
I'm wondering how much I should disagree with this.
Oh, please, because we have to. It is all understanding, right? We are all trying to go deeper.
Mm-hmm.
Before I knew it, 2 hours had gone by, and we're eating snacks in the meeting place kitchen. It was only my first meetup, but I can honestly say, even while eating Millar's delicious brownies, I felt lighter, just genuinely comfortable. So I decided to ask the other longtime Pause Your Life participants about their experience being part of the group.
It's just very helpful to be able to take an adult time out.
That's Dan. He moved to Colorado 6 months prior to start a new job and a new life. Even though he currently has to drive over an hour to get to the meetups, he says the journey is worth it for the unique experience he hasn't found anywhere else.
I like the fact that it's very laid back, very relaxed. I guess the best way to describe it is there's structure without having structure. And, pausing is about letting things go and just relaxing. And if humor and just unwinding that's what it takes to get you to unwind, then that's what you need. And that's provided here.
All right, so walking out of my first Pause Your Life meetup experience, and it was great. I mean, I guess I went into it kind of feeling like they'd kind of been doing this for a while, and I was going to be, the newbie that they'd be wanting to bring into it, but maybe a little on the outside, and that was not at all the case. I was also thinking that it would, get into some pretty deep concepts that maybe I felt out of my league. And same with the meditation. I'm no meditation expert, and I was thinking that, maybe doing 10 minutes of meditation might feel extreme, but honestly, I think it almost had more of the 2 hours of spa time kind of feel to it. Like I was really, that taking time for myself thing felt really good. Felt really good. On the way back, I was thinking about what Natalie, one of the ladies at the meetup, had said about the importance of the group.
There's so much to be gained by sharing it with other people, hearing their ideas, hearing your own ideas expand as you share them with other people. Being with other people is huge.
And it turns out new research backs that up. Hey there, Juliet. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Well, thanks for speaking with me all the way from the UK this morning.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Juliet Wakefield is a senior researcher and professor at Nottingham Trent University in the United Kingdom. She just published a major study that proves the sense of belonging greatly increases a person's happiness, especially when people are part of a group, just like Pause Your Life.
Depression, anxiety, stress, burnout, all these tend to be lower in individuals who identify with one or more social groups. I mean, you know, we all know about the importance of exercise and diet and stopping smoking and not drinking too much and so on. But I think generally as human beings, we're often not very good at knowing that social groups are just as important as those lifestyle factors for improving our health and well-being.
People are really busy these days, and it seems like that's one of the primary reasons why people are more hesitant to join groups. But considering your findings, it sounds like that might be worth it.
Absolutely. You know, everybody's busy, everybody's got lots on. And of course, to join a group, you're going to have to maybe reschedule things in your life and work out how you're going to fit it in amongst all your other deadlines and so on. So although it might be a bit of a tough road for the first couple of meetings, as things get going, if it works and it clicks for you, you'll find it so much easier to dedicate that time to it. So I think we have a deep-seated aspect of the human condition, if you like, that wants to belong and wants to be part of groups. And there's no reason why that shouldn't continue today.
So I really enjoyed the meetup. What's next?
The idea of a retreat is basically to remove yourself from your everyday life and spend some time going inwards and working on yourself, your personal development or your spirituality. And in a way, a retreat is a way to pause for a couple days or a couple weeks. So retreats are a fundamental way to hit the pause button on your life.
Just like at the meetups, the group reads spiritually enriching material and then discusses openly and honestly.
I have felt a lot of these in my life, honestly. You know, I can really relate to a lot of these.
I think on some level we all experience all of it.
At some point, there's different levels and degrees, maybe, but yeah.
I think
at least it's not just me. I thought I was the only one.
No. I think we've all gone through every level, even the higher levels.
At the end of each retreat, Chris asked the participants for their feedback. And as they share, it's clear the effect Pause Your Life has had on them.
Well, it can change your life. It really can. Pausing helps me put life back in perspective. Pausing helps me physically. I mean, like my body physically, I calm down, everything calms down. Pausing helps me make better decisions in my life. So pausing is important, very important. And it's just a better way of living. It changes your whole perception on life.
I think people go through life so quickly that they don't enjoy living. And it's very human now for people to get up in the morning, go to work, come home, eat dinner, turn the TV on, go to bed, get up, go to work. And it's the same thing over and over every day of their life. They're existing, and people are, my word is, consciously unconscious. And you got to become conscious with your unconscious. And that's when Pause Your Life has done that for you. It allows people to stop, slow down, being able to look within for that moment, to have a better understanding of why you're reacting to things in life and who are you? Why are you here? So I think everybody could definitely benefit from that.
I don't think I've ever meditated in my life. I've prayed, but this was amazing. I'm very proud of myself for coming. Yeah. I'm starting to choke up. It was so worth it. So worth it.
Adopting a new lifestyle and meeting new people can be daunting, but But it's possible, and science says it's worth it. Honestly, deep down, most of us know we have enough control over our lives to make dramatic changes. We just need to be properly motivated and realize it is worth it. In the next episode in the Pause Your Life podcast, Pause Your Life's Chris and Millar Curran guide us a step deeper into the profound spiritual concepts behind Pause Your Life and offer motivation that might be life-changing. We invite you to stay tuned for words of wisdom from philosopher, author, and poet James Allen, read by co-founder of Pause Your Life, Chris Curran. And afterward, Chris will teach Meditation 101.
Solitude. Man's essential being is inward, invisible, spiritual, and as such, it derives its life, strength, from within, not from without. Outward things are channels through which its energies are expended, but for renewal, it must fall back on the inward silence. Insofar as man strives to drown this silence in the noisy pleasures of the senses and endeavors to live in the conflicts of outward things, just so much does he reap the experiences of pain and sorrow, which, becoming at last intolerable, drive him back to the feet of the inward comforter, to the shrine of the peaceful solitude within. As the body cannot thrive on empty husks, neither can the spirit be sustained on empty pleasures. If not regularly fed, the body loses its vitality, and, pained with hunger and thirst, cries out for food and drink. It is the same with the spirit. It must be regularly nourished in solitude, on pure and holy thoughts, or it will lose its freshness and strength, and will at last cry out in its painful and utter starvation. The yearning of an anguish-stricken soul for light and consolation is the cry of a spirit that is perishing of hunger and thirst. All pain and sorrow is spiritual starvation, and aspiration is the cry for food. It is the prodigal son who, perishing of hunger, turns his face longingly towards his father's home. The pure life of the spirit cannot be found, but is lost in the life of the senses. The lower desires are ever clamorous for more, and they afford no rest. The outward world of pleasure, personal contact, and noisy activities is a sphere of wear and tear which necessitates the counterbalancing effect of solitude. Just as the body requires rest for the recuperation of its forces, so the spirit requires solitude for the renewal of its energies. Solitude is as indispensable to man's spiritual welfare as sleep is to his bodily well-being. And pure thought, or meditation, which is evoked in solitude, is to the spirit what activity is to the body.
And now, with that wisdom in mind, it's time for Chris Curran to give us a little meditation coaching.
Meditation 101. Well, basically, I'm going to explain some of the basics of meditation that I've learned over my many years of experience. So let's start with the body, your body. It's important to sit comfortably when you meditate, and also sit in a position so that you can remain in that position the entire time you're meditating. Because if you try to sit in a pose where every 5 minutes you're going to have to change your pose and adjust yourself and adjust your back and all this, that adjusting yourself will actually distract you from the meditation. So the reason you want to sit comfortably is so your body does not distract you from your meditation. That's the gist of it. You can also set your intention as soon as you're starting. Begin with the idea that you will relax and your mind will calm down. And also that you feel open to whatever happens during meditation. Because whatever happens during meditation is definitely good for you. Now, the formal definition of meditation is to think of one thing continuously. And so you begin with a thought and you try to hold that thought, but you don't really try, because meditation is a passive activity. You're not supposed to be doing anything. So you begin with a thought and you just let it go, and sort of like in the background of your mind, that thought is still there. In many practices of meditation, you don't want to chant that thought, keep saying it over and over. Now, the object of your meditation is very important, because it's been said by many, many people that you become what you meditate upon. This means that whatever you meditate upon, you will become. So if you meditate on love, you will become love. If you meditate on money, you will become rich. And put in any thought you want there. If you meditate on it, you will become more like that thought. So that's why it's important to pick the correct thought. That's why during the lightness meditation, we choose to meditate upon the idea that there's a peaceful lightness emanating from your heart. So you become more peaceful and you become lighter. And that's the beginning of getting into higher consciousness and higher awareness. So the duration of your meditation, you can start out meditating 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes. I would suggest 30, because typically it takes about 15 minutes for your body and mind to calm down. So 30 minutes is good. And here's a little tip. You can actually set an alarm clock. So set an alarm clock for 30 minutes and then just sit down and meditate. That way you're not continually looking at your watch and thinking, is it done yet? Is it over? Did 30 minutes pass? 21 minutes. I got 9 more minutes. You don't want to be looking at a watch or thinking anything. You just want to relax and let go. And afterwards, it's actually very important when you're finished with your meditation, it's important to not immediately open your eyes and immediately stand up and immediately start talking and just get back to your normal life. You have to give yourself some time to come out of a deeper consciousness. So if you use an alarm and the alarm goes off, shut the alarm off, but sit there for another 2 or 3 or 4 minutes with your eyes closed and just observe how you feel and sort of analyze what happened during meditation. How do I feel now? When you reflect back on your experience during the meditation, that's actually when you become more sensitive to what's actually happening. And that's how you can learn about yourself, about your experiences, and that's how you also develop sensitivity. So these are just some of the basics. And of course, you can always contact us if you have questions or you want some more information.
And that does it for this episode of the Pause Your Life podcast. We look forward to continuing our Pause Your Life journey together on the next episode, where we'll dig a little deeper into the profound philosophical and spiritual concepts behind Pause Your Life. And remember, you can always visit pauseyourlife.org to check out upcoming retreats, meetups, and to sign up for your free midweek pause materials to keep you grounded. Music for the Pause Your Life podcast was composed by DJ Buddha Bomb, and our theme music was produced by Ganges. You can find them both on SoundCloud. The light within us honors the light within you. I'm Hannah Lee Myers. Thanks for listening.